Okay, good morning. We're holding now Ois Beis in the Rebbe's Maimer Tashon Chof Dalet. It's page Yud Tes over here in the pamphlets. And we went through the Rebbe made a sikum from the Friedrich Rebbe till Ois Yud Dalet. We learned Ois Yud Dalet inside. And now we're going to learn the Rebbe's diukim on the Friedrich Rebbe's Perek Yud Dalet. Beis. Mamshech be Perek Yud Dalet. And the Friedrich Rebbe is Mamshech in Perek Yud Dalet. Now, if you look in Tes, the idea of Yud Dalet has a connection also to the idea of the moon is full. Why? The Chedesh Halavana is not 30 complete days. Rather, it's 29 days, and Yud Beis Shah is Tafshan Tzedek Gimel Chalakim. Technically, it's not a full 30 days, it's 29 days and 12 hours and whatever Chalakim. So really, the idea of Shleimus Halavana is really between Yud Dalet and Tesvav. Okay. So Mamshech bePerek Yud Dalet v'hinei b'chol ze v'atam machayes kulam ksiv. Now, he says that, and this is all what's written, v'atam machayes kulam, that Hashem is machaya everything. V'ata is machayes kulam. What does that mean? So the Friedrich Rebbe explains the ha'aras eireliki hari nimshach lahavis ulahachis is called hanivraim ayin liyesh, that the eireliki comes and is drawn down to create. There's two words over here: lahavis, to create, ulahachis, and to sustain, to vitalize all the creatures. Ma'ayin liyesh. As the Alter Rebbe explains in Ageres HaKedesh Simen Chav, that there's a light of a light of a light that comes in all the creations and creates and makes the creation. Which is a light of Hashem, a chayes of Hashem that comes in all the creations. And he brings down from the Gemara, the Friedrich Rebbe, that Hashem's hazanu mefarnis mekani de'emim ad beit zikinim, that Hashem sustains from the horns of the ox, in other words, the big animal, ad beit zikinim, till mamish the eggs of the lice. And the Friedrich Rebbe goes on, de'eid v'achayis meir v'nimshach gam madregas hayesi tachtenim v'hayesi shvelim, which means that Hashem's, this chayes aliki that comes down, the ha'ara that it's neitzim v'nasim in every single creature, goes even in the lowest of the creatures. Like he brings down from Tehillim, if I'm going to flee, if I'm going to fly to the heavens, Shamata, you're there. And if you're going to go down into the abyss, Hineka, you're over there. Ad kan l'sheni. This is what the Friedrich Rebbe explains. So the Rebbe says, "V'hainu." What is the Friedrich Rebbe saying? The alpha bishi yeshnim ha'inyonim shem lamata mato, moshes the il barucha kama dargis bazad lamata mato. Even though we explained that there are many very low madregas, mikomokim, nevertheless, kaminyonim elohim bechlal mashakos va'atam machayes kulam daikam. Nevertheless, what we're saying in davening, and it's brought down in Nehemiah, va'atam machayes kulam, that Hashem is machaya everything, even to the lowest madrega. Kulam daika, everything. In other words, shekelo gaminyonim shem lamata mata b'yisir, which is kelo everything down into the below. Afilu klippus, even the klippus. Afilu inyanim shalamatim klippus, even things which are lower than klippus. Shazo ever atzenis barak lakaman sivdal, and hey, even things like the klippa, which are lower than the people that are over the ratzon of Hashem, which is even lower than the klippus. Okay, so what we said in Beis now, you brought down from the Friedrich Rebbe that va'atam machayes kulam isn't everything, even the lowest mekarnei de'emim ad beit zikinim. And which means that the Eid B'chayis is nimshach in the lowest madregas, even though there are very, very low madregas, nevertheless, Ba'atam B'chayis kulam, and even things which are lower than Klippa. And now in Gimel and Dalet, he's going to explain, and Hey, he's going to explain Barichas what that means. What does that mean? Mashakos Ba'atam B'chaya, this that Hashem is Machaya everything. Ein hakavana l'ha'atzmus ma'amash. Doesn't mean the level of atzmus, the essence of Hashem. Mashakos Rabbeinu Hazak and B'shar Yichud V'Amunah B'pirush B'atam B'chayis Kulam. It's like the Alter Rebbe and Shar Yichud V'Amunah explains about Va'ata Machayas Kulam, Shetevis Va'ata, Hainu B'chinas Ha'esis, Ma'alef Va'atov, Va'hei, Mitzayis Ha'peh, Mekere Esis, like the Alter Rebbe explains in Shar Yichud V'Amunah, Va'ata Machayas Kulam, what is Va'ata? Aleph Tov is going on, that Hashem is Machaya everything from Aleph to Tov. And the Hey is going on the Hey Mitzayis Ha'peh, the 5 utterances of the mouth. The Hey Mitzayis Ha'peh. But that's not going to the level of Atzmus. Now, Atzmus, page Yutes, we just started. Now, Atzmus is L'mayla Minyan Eisis. It's higher than Eisis. The Leis Ram is Leibishum Eis, Leibishum Kates. That Atzmus is not alluded to, not in any letter or not in any thorn. Now, nothing else is Machai except for Atzmus. So what does it mean that Va'ata Machayas Kulam, you're saying is that Hashem is Machaya everything from Aleph to Tov. The Hey is going to Hey Mitzvah Sapeh, but it's not going on the level of Atzmus. Everything comes from the essence of Hashem. So the Rebbe says, Al-Derech Maimer Hazal, everything comes from Atzmus. Al-Derech Maimer Hazal, like the Chazal say, a love related to Midesav. It's Hashem and not to his Midas. Nevertheless, we can get a certain chayis the way that Atzmus is by itself. Or you can get the level of Atzmus, but it's concealed, and it's elyain that basically is black. Good morning. So this is what the Alter Rebbe means, that the level of Va'ata is going on letters. We're saying it's going from Aleph to Tov, and the Hey Mitzvah Sapeh, the Hainu, that means Shamshach is Achayis B'chol Nevroim, Hu Ha'yidei Slapshus Ha'atzmus L'Halam L'Hasras Atzmei Ha'yidei Isis. Which means that yes, we're getting the level of Atzmus, but not the level of Atzmus the way it is by itself, but rather the way it is with a lot of hidden and a lot of concealments, and basically not the way it's supposed to be. Look in Yud, while Pisa Muvah Mashasarch Labirayim Mashakos Va'atam B'chayas Kulam, Avshus Adover Posha She'eneid Muvadi. Now we can understand why the Alter Rebbe and the Friedrich Rebbe have to bring a raya from Va'atam B'chayas Kulam, even though it's something which is Poshet Ein Muvadi. Because we're going on, we're speaking about the Eid Horis Erliki, which comes down over here, Lamata Adin Tachlis, but it's in a way it's concealed. So basically, the first chiddush, what the Rebbe explained so far, is Va'atam Machayas Kulam. What we're saying is Va'atam Machayas Kulam, that it's not the level of Atzmus that actually goes and is Machaya everything. Because the Alter Rebbe explained that Va'atam Machayas Kulam is going from Aleph to Tov, but rather it's going on the Oisius. Atzmus is higher than Oisius. Everything comes from Atzmus. But nevertheless, there's Atzmus the way it is itself, and then there's Atzmus the way it is concealed. Okay, so we're holding Chaf now. Those who just came, Chaf, the Umayse Ba Maimer. The paragraph starts Umayse Ba Maimer. Okay, Umayse Ba Maimer, and Alter Rebbe is Meisef in the Maimer. The Ha'oros early key. Haring Nimshach Lahavis Ulahachis is called Nivroim Ayin Liyash. The Friedrich Rebbe says that this early key, Va'atam Machayas Kulam, this early key that comes down, is drawn down into the world for two things. Number one, lahavis, it creates, ulahachis, and it actually gives vitality to all nivroim ma'ayin liyesh. So the Rebbe explains what that means. V'hainu, it's very cryptic words. You're saying it's lahavis ulahachis. What are the yukim of these two words? So he says like this. V'hainu, what does it mean? Even though the actual pasuk, simple pshat means Va'atam Mechayas Kulam, you're giving chayas to everything. So it's like the Alter Rebbe brings in Shar Yichud. Don't read that Hashem is Mechaya, only Mechaya, gives chayas. That Hashem actually creates yesh ma'ayin, something from nothing. And And it's like the Alter Rebbe brings from the Baal Shem Tov on the pasuk that we say in Tehillim, La'elam dvorcha avaya dvorcha nitzav b'shamayim. Hi, what does that mean? She'esis hadibur ma'alef va'ataf sheba'asar ma'amaris aimdim b'tmidus, which means that the letters aleph through taf in the asar ma'amaris are constant. Ba'if in the nitzav. It's in a way of like standing. Standing, it's there constantly. Shemeda ala heder hashini, which means that there's no change. There's no lack of change. That every single nivra, Hashem is creating from something from nothing. And this is what he adds in the Maimer, that this Eirli comes, first it creates something, from Yesh Me'ayin, and then and then not only does it create something from nothing, it creates something from nothing, but it actually sustains all the Nivraim. That's the Chiddush. So Lahavis means it creates Yesh Me'ayin. Lahachis means it also is giving vitality. So Va'atim Mechayas Kulam Al-Tikri Mahava Mechaya Mahava, first it creates Yesh Me'ayin, and then it also sustains the actual thing itself. Yud Aleph, let's look on the bottom. Did I do that yet? No, I didn't do that yet. Va'inyan Bazah. Tehine, Va'inyan Isabus, Va'inyan Achayis, Yesh Chilib B'Hagilu Shebedavar. When it comes to actually creating something and giving it vitality, there's a big difference in the revelation of that thing. Yud Aleph. What does that mean? You have the Hainu Etzem Haviyosei. You have the actual essential thing that it's creating. Shumetzad Inyan Isavus. Umetzias Hadavar. The Hainu Tiva V'Tchunosei. Shumetzad Inyan Achai. So you have the way, the essential thing, the way it is. Then you have the way it is, the tchunas of it, the way, the functionality of it, the personality of that thing. And that comes from the level of Chayis. And he's going to explain Barichas, the Rebbe is going to explain Barichas what that means. So he explains. When it comes to Chayis, Hisavas and Chayis, there's a big difference between the revelation of that thing. Like it's explained in other places, in Chassidus, in Teira Shalom, and other places. Now, the way that Hashem created creations, everything, the way Hashem wanted is that the creator and the creation should not really feel each other. It should be concealed. Until you can have a metzius that the actual thing that has been created could think that it just came by itself. He's disconnected. He's a yesh amiti. So when you say something is lahaves, what does that mean? It means it's created, but the thing that is created to the thing that the creator doesn't have any connection one to another. It doesn't feel the created. However, when you speak about vitality, when you actually contemplate and think, how is this creation sustaining and being alive? So also, then you realize, well, 1 second, there's a source that's giving this thing chayis. Even though the hargosha and the understanding is very limited, but when you think into it, anybody who has a little bit of seichel realizes that there's something higher that's sustaining the thing that's being sustained. Like it says that he creates. It says about Bereshis Tachi Arz Desha, creating the grass. You have two ideas over there. You have the Sabas Mitzias Hadesha. You have the actual creation of the actual blades of grass. And then you have the way that this desha, the actual grass, stays alive. You have sometimes in places of the universe that require a lot of rain. V'yesh mehem adoshim atkshem, and you have places which don't need a lot of rain. And you also have a difference of the heat, of the atmosphere, of how much climate and how much oxygen. Some places don't need to have rain, grass grows by itself. Now, when a person contemplates into this, a person contemplates into how this works, will realize that there's something higher that needs to give the desha chayes. So through understanding and contemplating and understanding the idea that Hashem is mechaya things, so first you realize that there has to be someone that's actually sustaining the thing that's being created. And then you realize also that there's somebody that actually created the thing that needs to be sustained. Yesh doesn't make itself. This is what he's saying in the pasuk. And this is what Chazal saying. The Alter Rebbe brings down. Don't read it mechaya l'mahave. Whenever we say in halacha, we say al tikri, doesn't mean it's being shelo the actual shot. He's being meisiv. Through the idea of mechaya, you actually come to the idea of mahava. So what the Alter Rebbe is explaining from the Friedrich Rebbe, that nimshach lahavis ulahachis means that v'atam machayis kulam, that Hashem gives chayis and everything. First of all, He creates it, and not only that, but He also sustains it. And through a person actually contemplating into how Hashem sustains something, al tikin mechaya l'mahava, through a person contemplating how Hashem is mechaya everything, he'll come to actually the level of actually how Hashem is mahava everything. All right, we'll continue tomorrow, Dalit. Yeah.
Welcome back.